Okay, we're continuing in the Sikha of Parshas Balak. Second Sikha of Parshas Balak in Chelik of Gimel on page 180. We're in the middle of Sif Yud. So the point that the Rebbe speaks about here in the Sikha is the union of a karker called, we sent you a copy. Oh, it's right there. The karker called B'nai Sheis. It says that the Eibishter will annihilate all of the descendants of Sheis, which means that all of mankind will be wiped out. And the only ones that will be left will be Klal Yisrael. But it's obvious from other sources that even lost at Lavai, all people, all human beings will continue to live, and to not only that, they'll be elevated, they'll come to serve Hashem lost at Lavai. We even had one opinion, if you remember, in one of the footnotes, the Rebbe said that lost at Lavai, all Umas Ha'olam, all Goyim are going to be Megayer. Remember, there's such an opinion. Okay, but the Nekuda that we've been learning here, and the Rebbe has explained, is that the discussion regarding the status of the Umas Ha'olam, regarding all the nations, lost at Lavai, is not to be taken literally. There's no question over here whether Hashem is going to simply wipe out all people or not. Rather, the discussion over here is regarding the status of the Umas Ha'olam. How will they experience Geula, lost at Lavai? The Geula comes primarily for Yidden. But because Yidden are here in Olam Hazeh, so the experience of the Geula extends to the whole world, and Goyim included. So the question is, are Goyim just going to experience Geula as sort of tag-alongs with Yidden, meaning they're going to be there to serve Yidden, and therefore they're going to be part of the Yidden's experience of Geula, but they independently and for themselves will not experience any inyan of Geula. Or, as the Rebbe actually proves from the Lashon of the Rambam and the Lashon of the Alter Rebbe in Tanya Perek Lamed Vav, that from the Geula that there is for Klal Yisrael, yeah, true, the source of the Geula, the primary Geula is for Yidden, but from there, though, there will be also a revelation that will come to Goyim that will illuminate the darkness of the world itself and the existence of the Goyim itself, so much so that they experience Geula on their level for themselves, as an inyan for itself, not just as an extension of serving Yidden, but also experience Geula for themselves. So last week we finished off with a question regarding this. After the Rebbe proves this from the Lashon of the Rambam and the Alter Rebbe, the Rebbe asks a question that what's the point there? What's the point that Goyim are going to experience the Geula for themselves? Not only that, l'chayre, it's actually a contradiction to the whole point that Goyim are created and exist in the world for Yisrael and Torah. The world is created b'shvil Yisrael, b'shvil Torah. Everything else in the world is for the sake of Yidden and Torah. So how can we say that, and what's the point of saying that Goyim experience a Geula for themselves? That the ultimate shleimus that the world comes to, L'asad Lavai, is that the Goyim will have some level of independence. How can that be? What's the point here?
No one holding to be killed out, like we said, like 2/3.
No, the way the Rebbe explained it, the whole idea of literally them being killed, the Rebbe did mention that there are those amongst Umas Ha'olam that deserve an einish for persecuting Yidden or whatever other things they deserve an einish for. They'll get their fair share. They'll get their punishment. But as a general rule for all Goyim in the world, there is no idea that David is just going to come and wipe out all nations of the world. No, that's not. That's what we learned earlier in the Sikha. Okay, so let's see how the Rebbe explains this in here.
We didn't give a teretz
for what?
We didn't give a teretz for what we said.
Rish Lakish? Rish Lakish is the one that said that the nations of the world will be annihilated.
I thought it was 1/3, 2/3. He said it was the nations. Who was the one that 1/3, 2/3?
No, 1/3 is Yidden.
Right, 1/3 is the Yidden and 2/3 is all the other nations of the world. Yeah.
So we gave a teretz for what that means.
Yeah, what the Rebbe is saying is that it's not to be taken literally. It's not to be taken literally. All it means is that they will not experience Geula independently. So as far as their existence, lost of Lava, it's like annihilated because they have no independence. They're just here as servants for Yidden. That's what the annihilation means. Okay, now here comes the real peak and the punchline of the Sikha, the real juice of the Sikha here is in this ice. Let's learn. Ice Yod. The Bir Bezeh. We're holding 3 paragraphs in to Sif Yod. The Bir Bezeh. The last paragraph on the first column on page 180. See it? Okay. Okay, so here the Rebbe will explain what is the idea here that the Goyim will experience their own Gola. B'shas die Anhage von der Welt is Kiddaboy. When the world is functioning and running according to the way it should be, everything properly. Which means lo yigzalu v'lo yashchisu, there's no stealing, there's no destruction, no one's harming each other, everyone's getting along, there's peace and harmony in the world. However, if the case is that they're bittul tzelakus, that the fact that people are all behaving properly, and where does this come from? Human beings are naturally jealous and selfish and on, kinnot, tachrus, everything that Rambam describes. That's the natural state of a human being. If you just follow the nefesh Bahamas, even by a yid, and kol came by a guy, his nefesh is a nefesh where the Alter Rebbe says in Tanya, Perik Aleph, at the end of Perik Aleph, that every guy, whatever he does, is legarmayo. They're doing it, having themselves in mind. So the fact that loss of lavai, there's a condition in the world where lo yigzulu v'lo yashchisu. Everything in the world is running with peace and harmony. There's no fights, there's no wars, everything is beautiful. What is that a result of? It's because it's godly revelation. Everything is connected to its source, its true identity of what it is, and there's no selfishness, there's no I, it's all just batel Hashem. But ze bittel tzelakus kumt nar als teitza from ze shibut and bittel tziyidin. If the way this is happening is, it's only to the extent of that because they're here to serve Yidden and they're so nothing. They have no independence and entity for themselves. They're totally subjugated. Their whole entire life is basically taken from them. That's what means annihilated, that they really have nothing for them on their own. And their entire life is totally dedicated to serving Yidden. In Zeh Gufe hört sich das nicht an. However, as far as they are concerned, who they are independently in their nature, they don't experience this bittul to the Eibishter. Adarabah, what's happening over here is you're putting them in a situation where they don't have their self anymore. When you put a person into a situation where he doesn't own himself anymore, he's an eved, he's a servant, he's a slave, he lost his independence. So there, it's a different kind of existence. It's not him. It's not you. You put a person in that situation where he has no independence, so then he just follows. He follows what his master wants from him. That's what would happen, loss of lavai, if we're going to say that the Goyim will be annihilated. So then what does this really mean? Then what this really means is, as the Giyula, was Teichna is, V'aya Hashem lemelech al kol haaretz, is nit b'shleimus. The Geula for Yidden. What's the Geula for Yidden? That there's full godly revelation for Yidden. What does the full godly revelation consist of? The fact that there's no place where there's no godliness. The Eibishter, the truth of who the Eibishter is revealed and penetrates every single level of existence, including Oretz, the physical world, the physical earth here below. But if the entire Geula by the Goyim is not experienced in them who they are, mitzad their mitzias. If you ask the guy, if you take him and you ask him, what do you want? What is your life all about? He says, me, if I would have the ability, if I would have the opportunity, if I wouldn't be a slave for a Jew, what I would want to go and have a good time for myself. In other words, you never really transformed him. His mitzias is still the same mitzias like it is in the time of Galus. Elamai, you took away his independence completely. He's just following along with this great revelation that the Yid has, and therefore he's just part of the whole picture over here that the Yid experiences. So then it's not the Geula. What's lacking over here? What's lacking over here is not just the fact that now the Goy can't have his independence. What's lacking over here is the very Geula itself. The godly revelation of the Geula is also limited. It's not the full godly revelation. Because in them, in their mitzvahs, who they actually are, they don't connect to the malchus of the Eibishter. So then what's really lacking over here is the full revelation of Geula, the way it's supposed to be for Yidden, is not being revealed. The ones that are serving the Yidden don't pick up this revelation of the Eibishter. So what does that mean? That really there's a limitation. It's not a chesaron just for the goyim. It's a chesaron for the yidden. That means that the godly revelation in the world that yidden are experiencing is not complete. If there's a certain limitation up to where the godly revelation could come, but it can't penetrate the actual teva of the world itself, that it should become a keli for this, so it's a chesaron in the actual in the etzem geula itself for yidden. That's the issue here. But when the world itself and everything that's in it, senses and experiences, and on their level, who they are, the kingdom of Hashem, biz zay is likroi kulam. Okay, thank you. By zay is likroi kulam b'shem Hashem u'la'avdei Shem echad. That they are calling out to Hashem and they come to serve. And yachzeru kulam l'das as they return to connect to the religion of truth. This is the lashon that I mentioned that some Mefarshim say means Gatus. Okay, but the Rebbe said before that from the Rambam it's mashma, it's not an Indian of Gatus. What is their occupation? What the Rambam says, what does the term asek mean? Asek doesn't mean that a person does in passing, something that a person does for someone else. Asek means, what's your business? What's your occupation? When you ask someone, what's your occupation? What are they involved in? Right, that's the word of asek over here. Kol eskom is ladasas Hashem bulvad, just to know Hashem. The amalt is da gula shlema. That's what it means. The expression of gula shlema, complete, means this point here. Esvert oisgefirte kavana von dir betachtayim b'shleimos. This is the fulfillment of Hashem's purpose in creation. That there should be a dire for Hashem here in the world below. The shleimos from the gula by Yidden. This is the absolute shleimos of the gula, not only for the guy but for the Yidden as well. That's the nekuda over here. Correct. So the nekuda that Rebbe is saying over here is that on one hand, what we're pointing out is that the goyim are going to experience their own gula, not just as a hemshech to Yidden, but on the other hand, this itself that goyim experience their own gula, that means there's a limitation in the God for Yidden is the real oimek, the real depth of the revelation of gula for Yidden. That's what I was working here. Huh?
If you say that it is the essence of what the Abish is bringing to the world, why is that not? The Sarn has that. Why does the Sarn get there? The Sarn in the unlimitedness of the Abish. It's not the Sarn.
But it's a chesaron in the type of geula that Yidden are experiencing, though, because if the revelation cannot affect the goyim that deeply. What it means is it's not the real pure truth of Hashem that's revealed. When the real pure truth of Hashem is revealed in the world, then there's no iota of the world that's left out of it, right? So then it's going to have to penetrate the mitzias of the goyim on their level, who they are. If the goyim could only connect to the geula as a tuffle to Yidden, but who they are for themselves cannot be elevated by this. So what that means is there's a certain element, there's a certain layer of existence that geula cannot reach. What does that mean? The chesaron is not only there in that layer where it does not reach, the chesaron is even in the place where it does reach, it's not the full, really unlimited. If it was, it would reach there as well. If it doesn't reach there, that means even in the place where it does reach, it's not the real revelation. Real godly revelation leaves nothing out. It's the real mitzat atzmos, the essence of Hashem. You can't say that the truth is on this level, it's not on that level. When you talk about any level of godly revelation, it could be experienced only in one world and not in another. The way godliness is experienced in the world of Atzilus is not the same the way it's experienced in Bria, then in Yitzirah, then in Asiyah, and then in our world itself. The way godliness is experienced by the Medaber is not the same as it's experienced by the Chai, then the Tzimeach, and the Daimim. There's divisions in many different levels. Why? Because you're not dealing with the absolute essence of existence, Atzmos. When it's the very essence, the Eibishter himself, then all of these distinctions don't exist.
Then they should have the same recognition of Eibishter as the Yid has.
Again?
They should have the same recognition of Eibishter as the Yid has.
Oh, so that's coming in the next dice. We'll see. According to what we're learning here, that's l'chayda what it comes out. Correct?
Is in the stira to the Avdus?
Is what?
Is in the stira to the Avdus?
Is there a contradiction to their avdus?
Yeah.
So this is something we discussed before already. This is a very interesting thing that the Rebbe says, that you have these two things at the same time. On one hand, they're going to be avodim for Yidden. At the same time, though, they're not going to be avodim that are just going to be subservient to the master and the person like sort of forgets about himself, sort of drops his own personality and his own life and just follows what he's. They're going to be avodim, but they're going to be avodim that will be fully there for the master. Right? Like explained in Samach Vav, the difference between the Eved Pashut and the Eved Neman. The Eved Pashut is the Eved that's just, he has no appreciation for who his master is.
Is the totality of the other.
Correct. Yeah. Okay. That's also true. But over here, I'm trying to bring out another Nakuda, the mile of the Eved Neman. The Eved Neman is the one that appreciates who the Adon is, so therefore he's. Okay, also true. Okay, the Nakuda over here is that the Goyim will be Avadim, but to what degree? What kind of level of an Eved? Not just a level of an Eved which is external, it's just following along. An Eved which is fully there, because they're going to experience the Geula in their life with a fullness. Why? Because the Gilui Elokos La'asad Lava is a shleim as the Gilui Elokos. It leaves nothing out. Even the daimim of the world, Malchus Malchus, the daimim, everything in the world will be included in this Geula.
It's still hard to imagine shlemus in Geula, and to the person himself can still be a total in his optus.
Right, two opposites. It seems like two opposites.
Just,
Maybe according to what the Rebbe says in the next ice, we'll understand this.
There's no room for the person
Yeah.
to enjoy.
Let's see the next.
If there's an optus there. Yeah, okay, we'll go to the next ice. Yeah.
Everything goes back to the pre-hate. That's it.
Pre-chet etzadas.
Yeah, everything goes. That's it. That's what everything's going
Okay,
down to.
all right. Yeah. Okay, Sif Yudal. Let's continue. Now, as you pointed out, according to what the Rebbe is saying until this point, it would seem like that if so, the Geula should be experienced by the Yidden and by the Goyim equally. That's the whole point. The Rebbe teaches the definition of Geula Shleima means when there's nothing left out of that Geula. Everything, every layer of existence, every iota, every fiber of every being is totally permeated with Hashem. So you're going to start making distinctions. It's a higher level, there's a lower level. So then it's not Atzmos. Atzmos has to be by everybody equally.
Well, we're saying there's distinctions.
So what is the distinction, though? What is the distinction? What is it? Why should it be? How could it be?
The capability of the Mitzias.
No.
What do you mean by that?
In other words, a blade of grass doesn't have the same gili that the human has.
But L'asad Lavai, the Gili of Atzmos
Will be there.
is going to be everywhere,
Sure.
equally.
So what does that mean to a blade of grass? It doesn't enjoy Atzmus. Everything is with feed.
So let's see. Let's see what the Rebbe says.
So I'm going to ask you, what
Right, L'asad Lavai, the stones are going to be communicating with you. You're going to be talking to the walls. The walls will be talking to you, and you're going to be talking to the walls. Yeah, not you. That's Michelle.
Not everything goes the same way. Same like you're saying, blade of glass is not limited to this. I mean, like,
So let's see what the Rebbe says here. So based on what we're learning here, yesh letavech, we can reconcile zwischen the zwei Perushim and V'karker kol b'nei sheis. The two interpretations regarding V'karker kol b'nei sheis, whether it means that all the nations of the world are going to be annihilated, or all it means is that the Yidden are going to rule over all of mankind, not that they're going to be annihilated. So it seems to be two different or maybe even opposite Pirushim. So the Rebbe says they actually both come together. Und die Asame von der Nevuah, how do we reconcile the prophecy that when Mashiach comes, they're all going to be cut out or they're all going to die? With the andere Nevuahs, wegen der Metzias Somas L'asad Lavai. And all the other prophecies where it clearly says that the Goyim will exist L'asad Lavai. So we can say and explain this al derech Chassidus, according to what it says in Chassidus as follows. L'asad Lavai v'zayin, v'hoya Hashem l'melech al kol haaretz. The kingdom of the Eibusher will be in all of the world. Und der Gilui, kishem shani nichtav, von havaya echad b'chol ha'olam kulai. The name of Hashem, the way the Eibusher's name is written, not the way we pronounce it today. Yud Kei Vav Kei, which is the real Gilui of the Achdus Hashem, will be in the entire world. Befrat, but however, more specifically, werden dem sein achiluk zwischen Yidden und Kol haaretz. The way it will be experienced, there will be a difference between the Yidden and the rest of the world. Ubehesim zum chiluk and zera metzias. And this is based on the difference between who Yidden are and what the rest of the world outside of the Yidden is. And when the Rebbe says the rest of the world, that includes everything and everyone. All the Goyim, Daimim, Sameach, Chai, Medaber, everything. The existence of Yidden is totally different than the existence of everything else in the world. Actually, maybe even includes Malachim. Who's greater? The Neshamas of Yidden come from the Machshava of the Eibishter. The Malachim have the source of Dibur, just like the rest of creation, as it says in Chassidus. So what is the difference between the existence of a Yid and the existence of everything else in creation? The ganze Bria, everything created, including all nations of the world, is a Metzias, was is Nishave, geworden durch den Eibishter. It's a created being from Hashem. What does mean Hishavas? Hishavas means Hashem creates another existence. Hishavas means it's not an extension of Him, it's not a revelation of Hashem, it's a creation, a yesh ma'ayin. Hashem creates a new being. Bara lekim ayin leyesh basar ma'amaris. The Eibishter creates a new existence from nothingness. Everything in heaven and earth and everything that's contained in it, they do not come into being only from the true existence of Hashem. That's regarding creation. If Yidden, Neshamas Yisrael, wird gesagt, noch mehr. But however, regarding Yidden, it says much more than this. The entity of who a Yid is completely different. Yisrael, v'kol sheberichu, kol echad. The Neshama of a Yid and Hashem is absolutely one. And this probably even includes, here, Rebbe is bringing this expression, that way it says it in Zohar, and then in Tanya, and in Nigeres HaTshuva, when you get to the Neshama of a Yid, but it also says regarding the Guf of a Yid as well. Similar things. So what is the difference? A Yid is an expression of godliness. A Yid is the Eibishter putting himself, coming out into a Metzias of a Neshama. What's a Neshama? A Neshama is the Eibishter shining, the Eibishter giving a part of himself, not creating another being. Vayipach, what's the Lashon Alter Rebbe says in Tanya? That just like a person that blows, what happens? From his pnimius, a breath comes out that is his essence, and it comes out from him. It's outside of the person's body. When you blow, the breath comes out of your body. But nevertheless, what is it? What comes out of your body? It's your pnimius that's here. You're not creating something that's not you. The point of here is not to bring into existence something that is disconnected from you. But the whole point of a neshama is that it's an extension of the pnimius of the Eibishter. It's a different type of existence altogether. So now based on this, loss of lavai, shaking the rest of the world comes from the Eibishter's dibur. The whole point of dibur is to create something that's not him, to create a new mitzias. Okay, so therefore, so what does Enad Movade mean? Second, let's see. Apizeh loss of lavai, wenn es wird nesgale werden der emes von Hashem, der emes von Havaya lo ilam. When Moshiach comes, and the truth of the Eibishter will be revealed in the world forever. Gilu Havaya chodim Welt. The revelation of the oneness of Hashem in the world, ubishleimos, and with an absolute and the ultimate level, that the heart werden b'chol abriya kula kail umisailam. What are they going to sense? What are they going to feel? They're going to feel that what I am is godliness. The goyim, the Welt. They're going to sense that my mitzias is Hashem. You can't say that regarding the existence of the world. When they sense the oneness of Hashem, what do they sense? What they sense is that I'm not, that I don't exist, that I'm batal. That without Hashem, I have no beginning to my existence. If Hashem ceases, it stops to create the world for one moment, they don't exist. Meaning, when they sense godliness, they don't sense godliness that this is who I am, Adarabah. They sense that I don't exist without Hashem. Loi nimsu, they're not here. Elo, ma'mitisi matzeh. If they're here, they're only here because of ma'mitisi matzeh. Und as on them, Eibishter is ein dovach yochel matzis. There's nothing besides Hashem that could exist. Again, they cannot exist without Hashem creating them. Das heißt, das wird der Herd werden, as sie sind nicht kemitzias amitis. What they sense is that I'm not a real existence at all. And that's what yicharesu yigvol means. When it says that they're going to be wiped out, what does it mean? Karker, a heres from zeir mitzias. Meaning that the only, what you just said before, Einod Mulvade. What's the Einod Mulvade? That the world senses. The world senses that I'm takanara mitzias. What's true existence? What's real reality? Real reality is only the Eibishter. When you see something else that exists, it doesn't really exist. Its entire existence is completely dependent on Hashem. There's no such a thing that there's another real reality that Taka exists. So in what oifen are they sensing the truth of Hashem? Not in a positive sense of who I am. It's what I'm not. That I'm not Teufus Mokim. And then in Loss of Love, they're going to sense that with the ultimate shleimus. That's why it uses such a extreme lashon, yichreise v'yigvol, because the mamish, they're going to completely feel how I've been garnished. Ashenke by Yid, and on the other hand, a Yid, a neshama of a Yid. Who's a neshama of a Yid? A neshama of a Yid is the pnimis of the Eibusher that's extending and expressing from him. Vet is gale. So what's going to be revealed by them? Azay mitzias gufe is atznusa kaviyachol. Yisrael kodesh brich kol echad. When Mashiach comes, what do Yidden sense? Not that I'm not a mitzias for myself. Adarabah, Yidden, Lasad Lavai, will feel the true existence of Einoid Mulvadai, and then Einoid Mulvadai will be who I am. That is the real mitzias of who the neshama, of who the Yid is. So it comes out that soft, the Yidden experience the Gula Asida completely different than the rest of the world. Because Yidden are a chelik alekam imam mamish, they are an extension from the Eibusher, Yidden experience the Gilui Elokus in their mitzias of who they are. The rest of the world, though, will also experience a full Geula. But how do they experience it? By the fact that they're not, that they don't exist. That. In other words, they're going to sense the real truth. It's not a matter of schar. It's not a question of schar. It's not the point of schar. They're going to be completely included and one with the Eibusher by sensing that I'm not a mitzias b'fnei atzmai. Mitzias of the Welt, the only way it's included. It's not that. No. The Vart is not so much. But what are you looking at? What are you really looking at? You're looking at something which is it only exists because of the Eibusher. Be'etzim, it doesn't have any mitzias for itself. No, it's not though. Bria, the Eibusher creates it. It's something. No, but that's the whole Vart that Chassidus explains. When you have a creation, and the creation is completely totally in the Eibusher, so that doesn't really have any mitzias. It doesn't really exist. And all the Mishalim that Chassidus says for this. It's, to go into all the arichas about this. The mashal is the mashal of Zrikas Even that Chassidus says, right? You throw a rock and it's going against gravity, against its nature, and it's flying upwards. So you can is there a mitzias over here of that this is the teva of the Even, that it has any koyach to fly upwards? No, it's not. It's not Messiachas of the Even. It's the Eibusher. It's in the mashal, it's the koyach azrika shebiyad that's there. It's not. It didn't become a flying rock. There's no such mitzias as a flying rock. It doesn't exist. On the other hand, though, is the rock flying? Yeah, of course it's flying. It's flying. But what's flying? It's the koyach of the person that's flying. That's the mitzias of the world. The moment you look at the world as an independent thing, it's a mistake. It's off. It's not true. It's not independent. But what is this mitzias of the world? It's not independent. It's not I. It's only because of the Eibusher that it's here. But on the other hand, though, you can't say that this gufa is a lakos. The Welt gufa is a mitzias that the Eibusher created. By a Yid, his mitzias gufa is an extension of the Eibusher. It's the vayipach. It's the breath of the Eibusher. It's the pnimius of the Eibusher. That's nizgala. That's going to be nizgala. Lost love it. Today, before Mashiach comes, even though this is the truth of who a Yid is, but a Yid is a neshama begof. And being a neshama begof, the neshama becomes a whole personality. It says in Chassidus that the neshama is a lakos shenasa bepchinas nivra, takes on its own personality. It sort of feels a certain level of I, to some extent. I mean, in a kedusha way, but there's a certain mitzias of the neshama. But lasted lavai, the true mitzias of what the neshama is going to be in his gala.
By the guy, it's going to be that one.
Who he's not.
Who he's
Other
not.
The guy is going to be magish.
But he will remain as a mitzias of a kid.
He'll remain as a mitzias that constantly senses that I'm not me. That I'm not me. The not. That's what he's going to sense all the time. A Yid, Lasad Lava, is going to sense that I am Hashem. I am one with Atzmus. It's a whole different kind of feeling.
On the positive side. On the positive
Right.
side, he'll see himself as a
Maybe she will remove it.
He remains in Messias.
So the one will go back
He
to the
remains in
one.
Messias.
Correct. It'll
But it's
emerge
not.
the truth of who the neshama is.
Yeah.
On the positive,
And without that, the Yidden don't
How
have
to
to
ever.
Correct. Without the Goyim,